This podcast is brought to you by Casa de la Zissa.
As far back as I can remember, I have wanted to be an entrepreneur. Now, I am here to guide you through the intricate paths of building your business, embracing emerging technologies, and navigating the startup world. I am Saul, and this is Startup Corp, your go-to podcast for entrepreneurial insights and tech-driven success. Hey everyone, Saul here from Miami, talking with more and more startups every week. We're gonna have Dreamboy today, again with Forzan Industries, which is part of the big umbrella with many companies. So please, Max, Jake, take the floor. I would like to know everything about you, and for all the people that are watching this, please don't forget to follow us and put the click on the ring bell so you don't miss the follow podcast. Please go ahead. Who would like to start?
So Dreamboy, in essence, is a convention company, but the philosophy of it is we make conventions as fans, so conventions by fans for fans. And where this started is in our podcast network, we have a podcast called the Goosebumps Crew podcast, where if you're familiar with the Goosebumps franchise, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's three super fans of the Goosebumps series, book series, television series, the movies, all that. And every week they talk about Goosebumps. But very early on, they started landing really big names. I mean, really big names in that genre and even outside of it. And for a while, the three guys really wanted to do a Goosebumps convention because there's never been one done before. There's been Goosebumps attached to other events, but never a dedicated Goosebumps convention. And they had a partner, but they had a falling out. So I was kind of talking with them about it. And I said, well, hang on. All hope is not lost. Let's maybe get Forzan Corp involved in this, because if there's a chance we can do it, I think it could be really good. So we partnered with them to bring their dream of one weekend at Horrorland to life. And initially, the conversation we had with them was, well, we don't have any money to invest. We're like, no problem. We can figure out a way to raise funding. So we created a Kickstarter campaign. The Kickstarter, unfortunately, didn't meet the goal. However, in the process of doing that, Max and I kept having meetings of like, how are we gonna do this logistically? Because right now we were keeping them in the fundraising phase, but we were thinking 3 steps ahead. And that's when we came up with the idea that we were like, oh, we can do this even if the Kickstarter doesn't pan out. But we're going to sell it as a company, and the company is going to do this event, this convention, this 3-day convention, and we're going to snowball that into subsequent conventions. And you can do any number of events: Star Wars, Star Trek, sci-fi in general. Max even threw out the idea as a joke, but now it's actually something that we're thinking about integrating. You could do adult themed events, stuff like that. Literally anything that has a fandom, that has fans that want a convention, especially as far as we're concerned, especially a fandom that doesn't have a convention yet, or they haven't had a convention yet. We have created an apparatus to help fans make their convention dreams come true.
Wow, so this is the country for fans. I mean, I'm a big fan of things, Star Wars, including Comic Con, all the big superheroes and stuff. So this comes in the right place and definitely the right time. So tell me more about that.
Well, the difference that we have compared to other conventions, and obviously I'm not talking bad about the conventions that I love, is they became really corporate structure.
Yeah.
So they're losing the soul. I went to Comic Con, I don't know, 6 years ago in LA, right? I got the chance to see Stan Lee, right? But everything was so corporate and a structure that I leave the place after my 3 days not satisfied. So I saw everything, but suddenly, yes, you have one main event and everything's there, and the rest is just people that put in their stand with not important IPs, nothing. You have the people doing autographs, but he's gotta wait 4 hours in a line to get a Mark Hamill autographs, and he's just gonna do it for 20 minutes. So we decided to do uh, conventions that delivers what we want for the fans. As
Mhm.
part of Forzan Industries Corporation, technology is a big part. So Goosebumps, instead of going just a Goosebump convention, we make it a virtual convention for all the people that they can come with proxies that you're gonna be able to move freely and even buy for you to buy things online. Meanwhile, you're looking at the venue, and
Yeah.
that thing's never been done before.
Yeah,
Trademark
that's the
pending.
biggest. That's
That's
the
our biggest
biggest. That's
technology.
our biggest difference. Yeah, is the fact that it became very clear very early on, even in the pre-planning stages of one weekend at Horrorland, there were a lot of people because the convention, as of right now, the convention is going to be held in Cincinnati, Ohio. That might change depending on the needs of the event. But it became very clear very quickly that there were a lot of people that wanted to attend and wanted to support it, but weren't going to be able to physically make it. So we came up with the idea of having a virtual presence there. And that's really the light bulb moment. We were like, oh, so if you have like nerding out for a second, there's a very sizable Goosebumps fandom in India because they did special printings over there. But like if you live in New Delhi and you're a massive Goosebumps fan and you know that, for example, one of the announced guests is Catherine Long. She was an actress from the 90s Goosebumps series. She has never done a convention before, ever. This will be the first
Ever.
convention that she's ever, never, ever. And she just she's not in the space. She doesn't do events, she doesn't do autograph signings, she doesn't do any of this stuff.
She's
So if
gonna
you
do it
live
for
in
us.
Yeah. So if you live in New Delhi, for example, and you want to get a Catherine Long autograph, well, if it's a Dreamboy event, you can, and you can even have a short interaction with her through your proxy, and you get
So
the whole video of everything, and it's like you're there, but you're not there.
What is
Sure.
Goosebumps?
Yeah. So Goosebumps was a young adult. It was a horror comedy book series published in the early to mid 90s, and really it survived until the early 2000s, but it kind of fizzled out because of a couple of factors, but it's maintained a fandom. They did a television series in the 90s that aired on Fox, like the Fox Kids afternoon block, and then on the weekends as well. And then it spawned into a film franchise starring Jack Black as the fictional R.L. Stein. So there's two films in that. And then I think it was 2022 or 2023. Disney Plus produced a new series and they have a second season that's coming out, I believe, next year. So it's a franchise that's kind of clung on and maintained its fandom, and a lot of it has a very strong fandom within like the horror community, particularly people that grew up in the 90s though. That seems to be the core audience. And then those people introduced their kids to it and have kept it alive.
So we're learning language here. Tell us what is fandom, please.
So fandom is just a group of fans of a particular IP franchise, what have you.
Give me a couple of examples.
Star
Well, I
Wars,
mean, yeah, Star Wars fandom, Star Trek fandom. It's one that we fight about all the time
Magic the
because,
Gathering,
yeah,
Warhammer,
TV
The Last of
shows,
Us,
TV shows.
TV
Yep.
shows, many like
movies,
Stranger
superheroes.
Things, Marvel Comics, and that's as you see, that's what is important about this Dream Boy. We're gonna address everything. We're already into the Goosebumps. We're already talking to investors because we're gonna do the 80s and 90s nostalgia convention. And it's gonna have from the Goonies to Star Wars to Goosebumps to the Star Trek to Marvel Comics, and the convention is gonna have a different feeling. And if you guys allow me, I want to talk about the proxy situation. It's already trademarked, so we don't have a problem. What we're gonna do, you guys remember, and you, Saul, remember the first days of the first seasons of Big Brother that you open DirecTV and you see all the screens at the same time. So that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna open your app, right? You're in New Delhi, like you say. You want to wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning, right, or 4 a.m., whatever the time it is,
Yeah, we can
and
only
you're
do
gonna
so
go.
much.
You put in you put your login. You already pay for that access. Is your ticket. You have your login, your code, and then you go and you're gonna have this screen full of different sections. So you can click when it's available. We're gonna have around one proxy for every 20 people.
Yeah,
So you
plus
go
an
on.
itinerary too. So plus an itinerary because in our events there's a lot of things. Like for one weekend at Horrorland, there's going to be a series of panel discussions. There's going to be some live podcasts. There's even going to be some musical performances. So in your app, you'll also have an itinerary of the big, showcase pieces. So if you want to watch that, or if you want to use one of the proxies that's just going to be wandering around Vendors Row for the
So you
day.
can tell your proxy, you click on it, right? And he's in the area of Star Wars, right? And you click on it, and you're gonna be having text with him saying, "Hey, I'm really looking for a Darth Vader hat, black, right?" And the guy's gonna be walking, stop, and reading, right, like a live reading, and say, "Thank you, yes. Look at that. This is the hat that you want. User 315, right? This is the hat that you want. You want me to buy it for you? Yes. We're gonna have the information already of the card. He gets charged, and the proxy save it in his back with his in a ziploc with information. Save it, and every hour he's gonna go back to our mailing department and leave the bag so he can go back again. There's gonna be people that they don't want to buy. They want to see the panelist. So in their big screen, the main screen, they put panelists, check their schedule, and the proxy is like, hey, just look to the right, and our proxy is gonna have a camera here, right? An iPhone camera here and an iPhone camera here. So, and he's gonna have headphones talking to them.
Okay, good. So hold on. So, okay, we went through a little bit more detail that I wanted. So I want to know what stage you are.
We are, go ahead. You want me to, Jake? Whatever you want.
So we're at the stage where you would say, yeah, we're at a well, no, you explain it better than I do. I'm just a lowly VP
We're,
So
after all.
just for everybody. So seat
we're
Yeah.
stage,
preceding.
we're
We're
idea stage.
preceding.
Hold on. So let me for everybody. Idea stage, we just sit, we have an idea. Then we have seed stage, we already have a little bit of a grown-up idea. Now we're not ready to sell something to market. So I think you are right there, right? Before having a
We're
product ready to market.
preceding because we already have the contracts for the actors of Goosebumps and the letter of intent and the location and a few vendors. We consider preceding because we haven't made the convention. And at this point, the what are we seeking is really low, is $250,000 just to finish the part to get the first convention rolling. And with the return on earnings to the investors, we're gonna go and do the other convention.
We are on seed stage. You already told us why you're special. Honestly, I don't see who are gonna be your competitors.
Comic Con.
Yeah, but
Well, but
not really though, because we're the other thing, and Max, you might disagree with this, but I always saw Dreamboy as being a little bit, at least initially, being a little bit more about a more intimate feel. Not because Comic-Con is huge. I mean, there's just so much going on. This is a little bit more specialized because, like you said, our first event is going to be a 90s nostalgia convention.
which
It's
is
not,
nothing to do with Comic Con.
no,
80s and
nothing.
90s nostalgia. I can't wait to tell Mark Hamill, shut the hell up, dude. We love you as you are. You don't have to criticize Luke. We love you as you are.
Look, so what I want to put is a frame of where you are and who you are, what are you looking for. But hold on, Comic Con is not your competitor. I don't think, but well, might be, but you can go crazy with this idea. Maybe you're already thinking about this. It's just the sports fans, which
Oh
I'm
no,
not.
we are,
But I
we
would
are. We're
love to
gonna.
have a F1 group of people that we understand cars, that we love racing cars, but I don't have it.
So imagine this. Imagine a sports, elite sports that you can go and meet Tiger Woods right in the same convention. F1, parachute, rock climbing Olympics, stay there, and you can actually go and sit down in an F1 simulator and play there with other fellas. This is made for fans, and we're gonna listen to our fans. So
Get
yeah,
it. But
that's
hold on. And now listen to the investors. So whenever you talk to an investor that you're going to do just one event for many things, honestly, the money doesn't flow there. Or I don't believe, or it wouldn't be my taste. My taste will be specific, be focused, and unite people on one single thing. Sports, I'm curious about sports. Let's talk about something that I understand. Blockchain. All the people in blockchain, they already have events. Yeah. So that's core. You're probably not gonna be able to compete with a big conference there. So on technology is hard. Technology, I think, is covered, but sports, I think, is green.
Sports and nerdy things and geek
All the
things are
nerdy
our
things
thing.
that we love.
That's our thing.
The
Yeah.
gamings, all the board gamings.
You
Poker.
see,
Is there an event for poker? I would love to
they're,
see.
they're, they're the
I'm
poker
sure there
stars.
are.
They do their events, but our main core is sci-fi,
Oh,
monsters, all the culture, all the nerdy culture that now explodes thanks to the Marvel universe. But we've been fans from that since we were kids. So all those kind of things and sports is something an adult industry. I really believe in Latin America there's a convention that brings the best strip clubs, the best porn sites, and with the models and demonstrate. And it's not just the see a naked body. You want to see and learn from the guys that build that business. And we want to do that too because I know my fellow fans. I know my fellow nerds because I'm one. So I will love to go to a convention of a Star Wars, a Star Trek, right? The Goonies, and then the next month I want to go to an adults one. When I can see my friend like, hey, that's the guy that I met the last time, and now we're seeing a strip club. Why? Because this is for fans to the fans. We are open to listen to other fans. Maybe somebody come, like you said, want an F11. That's great, right? We can do it because in Forzan Industries we develop ideas.
hey, Jake, tell me what will
Yes.
be the top three that you're gonna be like all in. I'm gonna go to this event. Which will be your top three now?
Well, I'm very much all in for one weekend at Horrorland, and if I had to pick another two, when we do our Star Trek event and professional wrestling convention, I'm there for both. And what's very interesting, and I was going to bring this up, it's amazing how much overlap there is. That's why we've expanded just from Goosebumps because I'll illustrate. So when I was growing up in the 90s, I wasn't huge into Goosebumps. I knew about it. I read some of the books. My big thing was I was an Animorphs fan. But here's how you can bring them all together. So, also in the late 90s, early 2000s, Nickelodeon produced an Animorphs television series that ran for 2 seasons. And one of the actors, the main villain actor, also did a part in a Goosebumps episode. So there's overlap there. And that's the case with a lot of these shows. And I mentioned Catherine Long earlier. Catherine Long is probably best known for Goosebumps, but she was also in an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was another sort of young adult horror series in the 90s. So it spreads out on its own. So the fandom grows along with the concept.
It really does. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
a big fan of one TV show, which is The Fall Guy. That
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't relate in Spanish with the name, but I will be thinking that the people from the Fall Guy movie would like to have you guys to sponsor an event with all the actors, the ones that are still alive, because that's kind of from the 80s, and actually put together just the fans of the show. There was a huge hit. Put one of the cars that's still somebody with the car like that, and hopefully bring some of the actors if possible. At least give them a premiere ticket for all the people. Just I think this is gonna work. I think
Yeah,
the
that's our
marketing.
philosophy. That's our philosophy. And really you could scale it. I'm gonna nerd out for a second here. Max
Go
will
ahead.
chuckle.
Feel free.
Max will chuckle at this, but I would love it if we were able to expand Dreamboy to even other countries, because there are fandoms that exist in other countries, and I can share this little gem of a story. Um, many years ago, I made the mistake of getting married, and I got married in Cozumel, Mexico, and we also had a honeymoon there. And I remember this is before I spoke any Spanish. And when you're in a country and you don't speak the language, your barometer for what you're going to watch on television goes way down. It goes from am I going to like this to is it in English? So we're watching
I hope not watching the Mexican telenovelas or something that low.
No, and Max knows where
Oh,
I'm going with this.
so glad to hear that.
Let
Max,
me
it's a big
parenthesis. If we
lover.
make a convention of telenovelas in Mexico, it'll be as packed as Star Wars in LA.
True.
But keep going.
True.
But keep going.
Exactamente, mi amigo. However, I'm watching Canal Fox in Mexico, and which it was very surreal using the sat button as an American. It's not something that normally happens, so that was fun. But so we're watching Fox, and it's in English. However, a commercial comes on for a new TV show that's debuting on Canal Fox later that year, and it is not in English because the show was never produced in English, so there's nothing for it to translate to. I have no idea what the show is about. I have no idea what's going on because I don't speak a lick of Spanish. However, there's a song. It's the main theme of the show. I would later find out. And I'm just enthralled by this. And I see the commercial a couple times when I'm down there. And I get the name of the show because it says it at the end. And I do some research. I find out it's a show that was produced in Argentina by Chris Morena, which, if you're aware of, yeah, he's laughing now. Saul, I looked for this show for 5 years. I couldn't find it. I finally found a way to watch it. I'm not condoning sailing the seven seas, pillaging and plundering, but if it's never released and in fact, I now have a friend in Argentina because I was actually emailing back and forth with one of the program directors from Univision, trying to bring the show to the United States to be broadcast on the Spanish speaking networks because the show has never been broadcast in America. It's been
Wow.
broadcast all over the world, but not in America. The show is called Aliados. It ran for 2 seasons in Argentina, and then it just wasn't produced anymore. I would love to organize because actually all the people involved with that show have grown into very, very big things. But I would love to be able to organize an Aliados convention somewhere in the world other than the United States because no one will show up here because nobody knows that it
But
exists.
you'll be happy.
Yeah, I'd be thrilled. I'd be the only guy there, but
But you know what? Something about the company is that we are open to everything. At this point, we have already planned the 80s and 90s nostalgia convention that will include Star Wars, Star Trek, Goosebumps, the Goonies,
Where?
Karate Kid.
mhm.
Cincinnati is our first spot, but we're moving it to a bigger place depending on many factors.
Depending of venue.
Um, Depending on many factors, even the weather, you need to calculate even the weather for these events. Then we're gonna do the adult one, then the sports one. The sports always gonna have wrestling in it, but I don't want to stay low. I want to have the WWE, the everyone, and the AAA from Mexico. Imagine how
And that's
beautiful
what
it
I
is.
wanted to ask you. Is you're gonna have
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the Mexican wrestlers?
limit is
Oh yeah.
the sky is the limit because this is for fans. I really want to see. It's something that really hurt me growing up as going to conventions is that in a point the people was like, oh, I love it, but I miss this. I love it, but the real fan, always gonna find a mistake. I really want them to go. Damn, this was perfect. I really want them to go like that. So just humor me. 80s and 90s, Goonies, Karate Kid, Star Wars, Star Trek, Indiana Jones, Spider Man, Captain America, Iron Man, the MCU universe, because they're different things, right? And keep growing and growing. And this is as possible as our fans allow it. And sorry, I tap again. The proxy thing is going to revolutionize the way of how you can go to conventions. I couldn't go to Comic Con because I was busy. But I was in the house, I could just freaking watch it online. And nobody does that, trademark pending. But it's a beautiful thing that we're gonna be able to offer that opportunity, and the prices gonna be based in the country, something that I wanna be. I know that a person in India cannot pay a $100 ticket. He can't, but I wanna go back when I was a little kid, right? And I was barely getting comics, not me specifically, but you know what I want. I want to be sound dramatic, and and I couldn't, right, go to a Comic Con. It was a dream out of place, right? So now I don't want that for the fans in China, New Guinea, Argentina. I want them to be able to just go as we usually go. If you know how to use Facebook, you know how to use our app. If you know
Hold
how to
on.
use WhatsApp, you got it.
Okay, so what we're talking about is not that they need to buy a virtual reality set of $300, is that they just need a computer with internet, and they're gonna be
A
able to
phone, a computer, or an iPad.
any device, but they're gonna be able to live a little bit of the experience. Of course, not be the same. But guess what? Next year they're gonna save up. They're gonna have the
I'm
opportunity.
gonna be honest with you, Saul. I
Yeah,
think that I'm gonna make the I personally in my area, because Jake is the director of Dreamboy, in my area that is the app, I'm gonna make them live the experience to the core that people will prefer. Uh, let's go back to COVID for a second. Remember what the concerts were doing virtually? And when Tony Robbins create a partnership with Zoom so he can have 60 people, 60,000 people, we want something like that. The experience it can be there if the communication is clear. That's what I'm saying. There's going to be one proxy for every 20 people. We're going to have the place is going to be packed of proxies, right?
yeah.
But
So
it's going
Oh,
to be
to
like
kind of
Olympics.
Yeah, so to kind of add to that perspective, and this is going nerding out again for a minute. So, big pro wrestling fan. I like to go to shows, but I'm going to be honest. The best view is on television if it's a televised event. That's your best view. Our goal with the Dream Boy proxies is to make it as close to physically being there as humanly possible. And at times, you might even get a better experience using the proxy because for the live events, the proxies are going to be able to be in areas that a convention goer won't be. So their view is going to be totally different. And when you consider things like what happened with COVID, if we had Dream Boy up and running during COVID, we could have had events because there wouldn't have been people there. We would have kept all the guests and actors appropriately spaced apart, but we could have had 10,000 people attending an event all virtually, but not in a lame way like you saw. Like, not just, they're not doing a Zoom call. Like, it's like you're physically there. And
Let me
that's
go
what
back
separates us.
to the proxy. The proxy is gonna follow your instructions. They're not gonna be
Hmm.
working like a machine. If the guy says, "Hey, can you go and check the Star Trek corner?" Well, let's go back. In the main, you go to Star Trek, select a proxy, and you tell him, "Hey, they're giving in, a panel, right? It's gonna go to the panel. Hey, I want to leave the interactive game that we have for Star Trek. The proxy is gonna go and play for you, and you're gonna be looking through his eyes. So the
right.
proxy is you. So
Live
it's not just
experience.
yeah, but it's a lot of things that we're gonna be able to do because it's as they already pay a ticket to observe, we're just doing virtual observation, so the license won't be damaged.
That's pretty good. Let's talk a little about a little bit of the business model and the income stream. So the social media, of course, is going to be one of your income streams. You may have some persons or some definitely channels that are going to focus on one thing or the other, but are going to have the liberty for the viewer to select what channel they want to do. Because once they're done with one, they're going to go with the other. And maybe you're going to have some social media entrepreneurs that they would like to be, this is my channel. I'm going to provide you the best experience. And they're going to be able to watch it after or even during or at some point, even on 360 if they have the capabilities, right?
If the owner of the channel as they pay the ticket and they go on, we're gonna allow them to film. However, the proxy follow your instructions. It's a virtual presence of you, like a proxy in internet. That's what we call it, proxy. When you gotta use a proxy, right? Uh, so it's a totally different factor. The guys of social media, the influencers that want to go, they're welcome to come.
Hmm.
You are not going to be able to record your presence from the app. You're not gonna. What you watch is gone. If you want a picture, you're allowed to save a picture, but we're not gonna allow retransmission because of the license situation of Dreamboy.
All right, so remind us all what is what you're looking for right now.
for right now, to get the first event off the ground, we're looking for $250,000, and then there's going to be, any profits that come, and there is going to be profit on the first event. We've already worked out all the numbers, so that's going to be rolled into the second one, and then at that point, if any other investors want to come in, that just fast tracks the plans we have for the future. But the next event is going to be bankrolled by the revenue generated from the first event.
So okay, can you give us a little bit more detail on how these $250,000 are going to be spent?
So the vast majority of it's going to be for the venue space and then paying the guests that we already have letters of intent and contracts signed for. Um, and then just logistical things like, because that's the thing that we had to sit down and our first meeting with the Goosebumps crew is it's like, okay, guys, we love the vision, we love the dream. There's a lot of stuff you're not considering. For any event like this you need insurance. You're gonna like think of all the little bitty details, like if you have performances going on, you need seating, whether that's included in the venue or not. That's something you need to know. How do they handle food and food vendors? What's their contracts like? Like I said, insurance, security, rides, car travel to and from the airport, airfare, all that stuff, hotel stays, just all the logistical things that it's not fun to think about, but you have to think about.
So besides investors, which are always welcome, somebody that want to put their brands into your event, that's gonna be a partnership, that's gonna be a package for them. Do you have some packages prepared so that people that have their brand, that they want to have some visibility with this target market for people that love 90s and 80s with all these amazing things that happened on those years, including me? Being born in 1980. So what is the plan with other people that would like to, for example, sponsor a package or
Well, they're not
drinks?
sponsors. They're considered vendors. So we're gonna have 3 to 4 sizes of booths, depending what they want to promote. Obviously, we're gonna make sure, and this is really important for me, that the guy that want to sell in the 80s and 90s nostalgia is not a guy that sells swords, because that doesn't have to do with it. And I
Unless
hate when that
laser
happens.
swords.
Yeah, no, but unless they're lasers or unless they're exactly, they need to be part of it. The only ones that they're gonna be allowed to be there that they don't have relation is the vendors of food and drinks. Now we're gonna push for them to have something special. You do hamburgers, give me the Star Wars hamburger, right?
Yeah.
You have a drink, because we're gonna be able to sell alcohol. So maybe a cantina there.
With the weird beverages.
Yeah, so it's a full experience. It's not just a normal convention. It's like I don't want to say theme park because it's not going to be right, but it's like a theme experience. There you go, theme experience. That's what we're doing. This is not just a convention. Personally, this is solely personal, nothing to do with Dreamboy. I will not like to spend in line 40 minutes for an autograph. I'm not a person that has autograph. I know people that go crazy for that, and I love it. Me, but I really want to go to the Star Wars booth when we have a real live Darth Vader, right? And I can take a picture, official picture with that. That I will like. So I will gonna do that. In the Goosebumps, we're gonna have a digital reality maze full of the characters that they're gonna spook you in the screens. You're gonna walk in a screen, right? You know these new screens that you can walk and they project things? Video mapping, live shows.
Mapping
in the future, we're gonna do a music convention, not now for people to show us how good their new processor is. No, when you have a band playing over there, another band playing, a DJ over there. I got I'm really lucky to be surrounded with this team, and that follow my craziness, and they come with even crazier ideas. But I really think that if we give the fan the real experience, a long time ago, I got the chance to be in Kassel, Germany, for a New Year's Eve. I was with one of my best friends there, bass player of mine in that time. And everybody asked me about that trip. I tell you everyone the trip, and they go like, that's amazing. We take the hit Spain, rent a car, and we drove all the way to Netherlands for 3 months just stopping without a plan. Sounds great, right? That wasn't the thing that I got from there. New Year's Eve, I went to this club, not being a club guy. And I'm, and this is part of the experience that I want to share with you. You go there and you receive a card, like a digital card with 100 euros that you pay in the entrance. That was your cover. And every time you want to go for a drink, you just slide the card. No waitress, no waiters. You go there, slide the card, and the drink appear in front of you, like somebody put it, a person. When you run out of that, you go to the main lobby and you recharge your card to a machine. But the beauty of us in the lobby, you have the trance music, the electro dance music, and the traditional music in 3 different stages. You couldn't listen one, but at midnight, they make a countdown and the walls open and the 3 DJs were mixing together.
Wow.
That experience, I want for people to go, oh my God, I was in the maze on Goosebumps and I finished the maze and I saw the actress taking photographs. And then I'm like, still watching my picture. And then I got to go and put an Oculus and fight Darth Vader, right? And then I want them to go. I don't want them to go to buy comics and buy masks and buy things. I want them to feel the experience presently or virtually. So that was Dreamboy is about. It's a Dreamboy.
No, it is really amazing. So that's something very special. What you mentioned is the cross-pollination within all other themes that are correlated mostly. So you're gonna see somebody dressed as Star Wars or something, and they're gonna find the other one like Axl Rose. So you're gonna find people, hey, I love Axl Rose, hey, let me too, and that cross-pollination builds something that we kind of missing out of some people that are just working on their offices. We lost this human connection. This is so important in life. Some people that are just alone at home and they don't interact socially face to face with anybody. I think this is gonna be a really good thing for humanity.
And I don't thank you. And I don't want to go crazy, but I got a friend that he has what is his sickness that he can leave the house? I forgot. He got this sickness that he can leave the house, so he's not mentally allowed to leave the house. So when I went to the opening of Star Wars, the idea has been in my head for years now. I put my phone in the pocket and I grabbed my girlfriend's phone and put it in my hat, and I went to the Star Wars cantina so he can watch it. And he loved it because I told him, hey, I need to record and say phones are not allowed. And I told them, I need you to look at him, right? And you look at him and he looks sick, right? He can't leave his house. And they allowed me to do it. The guy was happy. The guy was happy. Now imagine people with paraplegic, people in hospitals, people that they don't have the physical capabilities to leave their houses. We're going to be able to deliver that to them. So, and I'm pretty sure in this first convention of the 80s and 90s nostalgia, I will stop singing for a year if I don't get the original Knight Rider car in there. So I really want to sit in that car.
CDZ Collegia Musica is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. It is a kind of school of music, a concert series, and an agency that promotes the musicians, dedicated artists, and educators who we feature as our performers. The goal of the Collegium is to bring community together through music performance. These performances vary in musical style from classical to jazz, and music from different parts of the world, from India to the Middle East, that'd be like Persia, and Japan, and China. The goal is to also educate us to how music functions not so much as a musical universal language, because there are differences in the way that these languages of music are expressed, but to educate us to be able to be more appreciative not only of the music but the culture it represents. And by doing this, it brings community together.
And then the other thing that we're going to do too, and this is the Forzan Corp coming out, is what our company's really good at doing is taking the things that we already have and being innovative with them. So the big thing about Dreamboy events is partially it's on purpose, but it's also partially just the reality of the situation. For example, if we do one weekend at Horrorland this year and the next year, we may not have the same lineup of guests just because of people's schedules and things like that. So we want our guests, our clients, our customers to understand that we don't want them to feel like they're missing out, but at the same time, we want them to be aware that this event, we've made it easier than it's ever been to attend it virtually or in person, virtually being how easy it is you want to come to this event because you might see something here that you will never see again. For example, one of the ideas we kicked around and then we realized we could do it is we have so in the Goosebumps franchise, one of the most iconic characters is Slappy the dummy. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a ventriloquist dummy that comes to life and wreaks havoc. We have the puppeteer and voice of Slappy from the movie franchise, and we also have the voice of Slappy from the 90s series at the same event. So we're like, well, we should totally do a panel with both of the Slappies there.
Mhm.
So we're going to have a fun little panel where we interview both Slappies at the same time, and we're just going to have a lot of fun with it. But that may not, we're going to try to make that happen again. It may never happen again.
And something else, one of the guys that make the voice of Snappy is actually the voice of Wolverine in the cartoon, in the new cartoon, and in the old one. So you see everything interacts with each other because we're nerds, we're geeks, and we face it and we love it, and that makes us fans. So that's what this Dreamboy is about.
Fantastic. Look, are there closing comments from you two before we go to contacts?
Jake?
You're going to want to pay attention to this because if you're a fan of anything, there's a pretty solid chance that we're going to be able to put together a convention for it. And it's like Max just said, you might not be a Goosebumps fan, but Cal Dodd, the voice of Wolverine from X-Men and X-Men 97 is going to be there. And I will tell you what, it's very surreal watching him do the Wolverine voice. And if I have my druthers, I'm totally going to see if he'll do the monologue from Deadpool and Wolverine in the 90s voice, though. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That'd be awesome.
Remind us what you're looking for right now. What is the investment opportunity or for the fans? What are you looking for at the moment? And we go with the contacts.
We're looking for the last $250,000 to finish the first convention. We're offering a 10% royalties on the event or 5% of ownership of the company.
Okay.
So it will be a equity or results. We are hoping for all the fans to have a great time with us, and for investors, with the money, part of the money is going to be used for publicity on Instagram or on TikTok. So that guarantee their money back just in the drinks and the food. We're not considering the ticketing because that's the extra. Just with the food and the
drinks.
And the drinks, they're gonna get their 250,000
And the games
back.
that they're gonna be able to play, all the experiences, they have to pay a little bit. Gotcha.
I just came with an idea. We need to have an arcade, all arcade inside the 80s and 90s. Totally, like all arcades. We're pole position, like all. But yeah, we gotta have everything, and this is gonna happen because of the fans and for the fans. And if anyone has a great idea, Max at forzancorporation.com. If you have an idea for these conventions, let us know. If you want to invest, let us know. Jake at forzancorporation.com. And if you have another idea that needs support, we are specialists creating ideas. This started from, partnership with other guys, and we're ready to do Dreamboy. Thank you, Saul, for having us here again.
So hold on. So what you're saying is that for some industries, take entrepreneurs or ideas and make it
A
like
reality.
explode them. So tell us a little bit about that service.
Well, our service, we have a way to prepare your documentation correctly for investors. Then since the essays, the right letters, the packages, financials, legal, insurance, accountants. So we have a big team in our corporation. So when somebody comes with an idea, there's sometimes that they just hire us for the service, but usually it's our style. We become partners, so they pay less, and we work together to make it happy. You know,
Fantastic.
I mean the people to make it happier and make it everything happen. So yeah, so we provide the service, but write us, come to www Forzan, that's number 4 SAND corporation.com, and check it out. We do a lot of things, and Dreamboy is our new entrepreneur thing, and we're really experienced because the other businesses, and we know this is going to be a success, and I'm really proud to work for Jake in this project.
So there you have all the startups, entrepreneurs out there that are looking to get some support. This looks like an accelerator. An accelerator means that you have a strong team of lawyers, financials, strategy, project managers, technology developers, marketing, social media, video content generators. So all that team gets presented to you for your idea. You're part of it, of course, but you either pay for the service or we join forces and we go work together as a team. So that's something that you have at your proposal right now for Max. Thank you very much, everyone. Don't forget to follow and share. We're making these videos every week, so we're looking forward to see you on the next one. It's very important for us, your support. Please follow and share with your network. Thank you so much. This is Saul Tarazona. See you and the other one.